episode of Face Off from Mumbai, home to all that glitters in Bollywood. And the star of our show tonight is a superstar, not just in India and Pakistan, but also across the globe. His first film was released in 1988, and since then, he has done over 75 films. Even today, at the age of 45, his films are a hit at the drop of a shirt. I need not say any more. Let's go and meet Salman Khan. And this shall be his first ever television exclusive interview to any Pakistani journalist. So special indeed. Sit back and enjoy. Thank you so much for joining us on Face Off. Just before the interview, you were telling me that you had family there, and the last time you visited Pakistan when you were 15 years old. And what brought you to Pakistan?
Family.
Family?
Yeah, my dad's sister lived there, so my cousins were there as well. I think now they've moved to America, some moved to Dubai.
Do you remember a little bit about Pakistan?
Yeah, I remember. I think they were staying at this place called Drig Road.
What do you remember about the people, the smell, the place?
I remember the house, and वहाँ पे घर के बाहर एक शहतूत का पेड़ हुआ करता था.
Acha, and you used to climb up on that?
Yeah, गच्छी पर.
And play with your cousins?
Bari Mamu still lives there in Khodadat colony.
And he's your uncle?
Yeah, he's my...
Your khalu?
Yeah. He's my dad's cousin.
Do you have any plans of coming to Pakistan because you have such a huge fan following there?
Yeah, definitely. I would love to be there.
And what's keeping you away? Why haven't you come up till now?
Busy here, and ऐसी कभी कुछ plan बना नहीं. I was trying to come there and do some concerts there, but I mean there were a lot of people trying to, so I didn't know who to go with.
You know,
but then since we do concerts all over, like America, London, Dubai, so we have a lot of Indians and a lot of Pakistanis come to watch the concerts there.
Right.
A lot of Bangladeshis as well.
So you have some sense of how popular you are in Pakistan?
A little bit.
A little bit, because when I first got my first job, there was this young man who used to dress up like you, who used to look like you, who used to, sing your songs, and he used to completely mimic you. So how does it feel to have that kind of an effect on people? I
don't know, seriously, because I have never tried to copy anybody or ape anybody, or never looked up and at anybody or idolized anybody apart from my father, because as a person that he was the only man in the house, and we grew up watching him.
But does it scare you that people?
But we appreciate. I mean, even here as an actor, we do appreciate a lot of people.
You were talking about being so tied up with so many things. Do you ever get free time to yourself?
Yeah.
Is it shooting
I'm always
after
free.
shooting? You're always free.
I'm always free because I like what I do. It's my hobby, and I've kind of changed my hobby into my profession. So I'm excited all the time. If I'm shooting, you know how we shoot. Maximum a shot takes about 20 seconds, 30 seconds to be done, but to set up is about half an hour, 45 minutes. I have enough time.
So what do you do when you're waiting for your shots?
I chill.
You chill?
I chill, I listen to music, I hang out with friends.
Do you read books?
Used to stop reading books. The only time that I read books is when I can't get sleep. And
Oh, you're suffering from insomnia?
no, it's not insomnia, it's just that you'll sleep when you're dead. Since I was a kid, I just get about 2.5, 3 hours of sleep.
So you only sleep 2 to 3 hours?
Yeah, always been like this with me since school.
Okay, and you don't feel tired, and how do you do all your action scenes then?
I mean, some people require their 8, 10 hours of sleep. I'm sure you require 12 or...
No.
I just see that you can do so much more when you're not sleeping.
And so what do you enjoy most about being a star?
I enjoy the smiles.
You enjoy the smiles?
That's the only thing that I enjoy.
Right.
I enjoy when somebody goes and watches a movie and everybody is like all... I mean, the whole Gurbat scene happening and everybody's depressed and upset and angry. And when they go and watch a movie, they forget all that stuff and they come out with smiles and happy, and then they want to be that character of the movie. I kind of enjoy that.
Well, I mean, you've done so many films. You've done over 70 in the last 22 years. But you know, I read somewhere that Subhash Ghai is saying about you that if Salman Khan had watched his ways and watched his steps, then he could have been the king of the entertainment world. And he hasn't gotten the roles that he really could exploit his talent with. So what would you say to that?
Subhash ji gave me that role. I couldn't do justice to it in Yuvraj.
You couldn't do that? You really think you couldn't do justice to it? Mane, you've done so many films, you know. One would assume that sometimes, you know, actors like Amir Khan, they want to do films, like 1 or 2 films, give it all that they have. But not you. You want to do a lot of films. But
I don't do a lot. I think Amir right now is doing a lot more films than I'm doing. But the format that I want to stick to is just entertainment. I believe it's an entertainment media, and I just want to do that. And if there is a message in that, it just has to be just like a slight one. I don't want to do any gyan, I don't do any preaching. That I can do in my interviews or, you know, when I have free time.
But you know, in your attempt to entertain people, have you somewhere lost your ability to explore your talent? Let's put it that way.
The kind of roles that I do, I just need this much of talent.
And you won't want to do another role. Like, have you looked at a film and said, whether it's Bollywood or Hollywood, I wish I'd done that film? That role
if I'd
would
have got that, if
amused me.
no, if I'd have got that film, I'm sure I'd done it, and I'm sure I'd have done it much better than the person that you've seen in the movie.
You know, moving forward, because I know a lot of people in Pakistan will be watching this interview. The peace process between Pakistan and India has not really worked out, and you are somebody who has fans on both sides of the border.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell
India
you
and
why
Pakistan?
why it doesn't work out. I think the Indian Awam and the Pakistan, you know, Awam, they both like each other. I mean, there would be people in the armed forces, you know, where the Pakistanis have, you know, got one of us or we've got one of theirs, so that becomes kind of a personal enmity. Now, apart from that, I mean, you guys watch our films, we guys like your cricketers, so it's all good. It's just that the governments, you know, they've kept this thing going. So I guess whoever signs this war treaty, ke jao, you know, jang chid gayi hai, you know, whoever says, you know, go, kill them or whatever, those people have to be in the front first. When the guys and the politicians or the government signs that, whoever signs that, ke jao bhaiya, they should be in the front, right there, before your jawans, before our jawans. You will never have that problem, I guess.
You know, after the Mumbai attacks, you spoke in favor of Pakistan, saying that Pakistan has also suffered from terrorism. Benazir Bhutto was killed due to terrorism. So at that time, when there was so much anti-Pakistan sentiment, did you feel kind of a voice in the wilderness?
See, everybody knew that the government is not behind it. They just knew that it was a terrorist attack. And more than anything, our security failed. And we've had these attacks, you know, a lot of them here. And they've not been from Pakistan, they've been from within as well. But this time, because Taj, the Oberoi, was under attack, so everybody just stood up. I mean, we've had, you know, bomb blasts earlier. We've had in trains. We've had blasts in small towns, and so these things have happened here as well. So no one, you know, at that point in time, no one stood up, just because it was the elite who, you know, this time
that got targeted.
I mean, 5-star hotels and stuff. So I think they panicked. That was the first time that they, you know, got up and spoke against this. So my thing was, that's why suddenly now? This has been happening for the longest time, and we've been speaking on this for the longest time.
Right.
So people who suddenly woke up was because, you know, they were scared of their own lives and their own loved ones. What about the poor?
Right, but don't you think
and
that
then
it
even
was...
in Pakistan ke andar, I was told, Shoaib Akhtar was telling me that last year ke andar 550 bomb blasts हुए हैं.
जी बिल्कुल.
जी.
So we've really suffered as well,
जी,
and
yeah.
you're somebody who sees that very clearly.
जी.
But don't you think that the Mumbai attacks were also
I think the press also is, you know, very responsible for this, and
for
ignorance
warmongering on both sides?
and ignorance also is there. Plus, जो terrorist होता है वो terrorist होता है, you know, Hindu हो मुसलमान हो, you know, he's a terrorist. I mean, किसी मजहब या किसी religion में ये नहीं बताया जाता है कि आप मारो. Fatwa का मतलब है opinion, jihad का मतलब है, you know, struggle within yourself, and Islam means peace. So what book are they reading?
Right.
Islam means peace, and so ये क्या है मार-धाड़ killing वगैरह.
Right. You know, you talk about Islam, you talk about fatwas. Now, there has been a fatwa against you as well for, you know, idolizing or for preaching to an idol.
जी.
How do you respond to that kind of thing? Because obviously there's a certain community that expects you
जी.
to behave in a certain way, and your your mother is Hindu and your father is Muslim,
जी.
and you also celebrate the Hindu festivals and
जी.
the Muslim festivals.
See, for me it is nothing. For me, it will be difficult for somebody who's born in a Muslim family and has been taught that, you know, that his religion is the best. But Islam also teaches that you have to respect somebody else's religion for him to respect your religion. I come from a family where my mother is Hindu, father is Muslim, second mother is Catholic.
Yeah.
So I believe in the principle of just being human.
But you know, anywhere in the world, that would be very uncommon. And does that sometimes, as a child, even when you were growing up, did that sometimes confuse you? Or was that something that you enjoyed?
I think on my school, when they asked what religion I was, Dad said, why? Because I was in a Catholic school. Dad said, why do you want to know what is that got to do with?
And you didn't know?
No, my dad, when I spoke to him, the teachers, the principal, he said, fill in the religion. He said, what has religion got to do with what grades he's going to get and what marks he's going to get and, you know, how he's going to fare in school? It's got nothing to do with that. So he wrote human, and then he wrote Indian.
And that's how you lead your life. You're human and you're Indian. But at the same time...
If I was born in Pakistan, I'd been Pakistani. If I was born in England, I'd been British. I was born anywhere. If I was born in Africa, I'd been African.
But you know, at the same time, because you have such a huge fan following, you're a public figure, and you live in a country where people are so sentimental about religion.
You know, we don't care if Shahid Afridi is Indian or Pakistani or Bangladeshi or African. You know, he's a sportsman. Or Shoaib Akhtar is there for his talent. He's there for what he does. The same way, you don't care that Sachin is Pakistani or he's hitting your bowlers for sixes. You don't care about that. It's just that he's playing really well on the field. And so when we are on screen, you don't care कि ये Indian है या Pakistani है, Bangladeshi है.
He's just a star.
It's just. I mean, sports and entertainment. I don't think they should have any borders or any religion.
About the cricketers, our cricketers especially. I read somewhere that you were actually trying to buy an IPL team.
Yeah, that didn't work out.
That did work out?
No, that didn't work out.
That didn't work out.
It was just a thought that I wanted to do, and I want to do it under my charitable trust, but that
didn't work out. But if you do manage to buy one, would you invite Pakistani cricket?
No, now you can't buy that.
Now you cannot buy, okay.
Now you can't buy that, no, of course.
Would you encourage Pakistani cricketers to come here and play?
If I make a being human team, of course, I will take the best players from just about. It will be a charitable team. I will take the best players from just about anywhere.
And you know, you also supported somebody from across the border who did this film that has become quite controversial. I'm talking about Tere Bin Laden, which is called Tere Bin in Pakistan because you can't say the word Laden.
Why?
So you can't say the word Laden. So
अगर किसी का surname है तो
किसी का सरनेम है तो वो तो अलग चीज़ है, but you can't make a film on it saying Tere Bin Laden. So how do you feel now that there is so much controversy around, you are still Muslim and there is so much controversy around religion? You know, for example, there is a lot of racial profiling as well of actors. We saw Shah Rukh Khan being racially profiled in America.
No. That's ये गलत बात है. ये totally गलत बात है. When we go there, you know, we all, it is for their security. ये नहीं है कि कुछ attacks नहीं हुए, attacks हुए, so they will be very careful, which is a good thing. And उसके बाद कुछ नहीं हुआ वहाँ पर, बल्कि यहाँ पर attacks हुए, because the security lapse.
But you do think there is generally this Islamophobia?
No.
When people talk about Islamophobia.
Yeah, but you know, as चीजें हुई हैं ना, तो everybody will be scared also. So when we go there as well, you know, when we travel, they stop us and they see us, और हमारे साथ 2-3 गोरे फंस जाते हैं. Because excuse me sir, but तीसरे चौथे हम होते हैं, और वो SSS, you know, security से निकलते हैं. And I think that is the fastest way to travel. आप क्यों लाइन में खड़े हो? So when I go there, I just look around like that. So straight he comes to me and says, "Sir," and I travel with you know, flip flops or you know, a pair of shorts or just a vest. So you're outside on the other side, you know, in a jiffy.
So that's a very positive way of looking at it. But you know, there are so many people, so many young men who are now taken to violence.
जी.
And some of them actually watch your films as well.
Yeah.
You know, so what would you say to such men who are perhaps, you know, going
I think
towards violence?
the only thing right now is instead of, you know, all this is just education, and try and work and be the, you know, best at what you do. That is the only way that you can get this community or your community up. That is it. If you specialize in something you're good at, if you have a job, if you study, if you know, being educated, this is the only hunar ho aapka. This is the only way that you can eventually get your whole community up. Nothing's going to happen by carrying AK-47s and going out.
Are you interested in politics?
No, not at all.
Not at all,
Not
but
at
you've
all.
campaigned for many people.
Yeah, I've campaigned for friends, and more than those friends, I've campaigned for those people, for the constituency, the janta, the public, the people who are there of that constituency, because one wrong person wins, then that whole 5, 10, 15, 20 lakh people, that they suffer. So I know for these people that I went for, they're my friends, and I know they're good people.
Okay.
So that is the reason
So you were
why.
helping out a friend.
Yeah.
But you know, you have such liberal views. Somebody would assume that someone like Bal Thackeray, for example, would not be, let's say, close to you. You know, Bal Thackeray has said some very nice things about you, that if you want to be a secular Muslim, then you should look at Salman Khan's family, etc., etc. But at the same time, to a lot of people, not just Muslims, to a lot of people, Bal Thackeray would be considered somebody very extremist.
He's okay with us. I mean, he's never had a problem with us. In fact, he gets along fine with Dad, and you know, he's like that. He's kind of chilled.
He's kind of chill.
Chilled, yeah.
Bal Thackeray.
Yeah.
All right. And you don't think there is a problem you saying that, because his, you know, public persona is not kind of chill?
No, I mean, chilled in the sense that he's I mean, to us, he's really nice, and we've never had a, you know, problem, you know, with him. And the fact
Do you
that
agree
he
with
says
him, with his political views?
I'm not in that political scene,
Alright.
so I don't know what political views.
All right. So let's
yeah.
move away then
Yeah.
from politics, and let's talk about something that all the girls in Pakistan want to know. When are you getting married?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. I don't see a marriage happening in the tonight or tomorrow.
Not tonight or tomorrow. You don't think you don't think Katrina Kaif is the one for you?
Yeah. We'll find out. Once I tie the knot, we'll find out one.
All right.
We'll find out who the person is, and if Katrina Kaif is the right one, or whoever.
Another thing that I read while I was doing research is somewhere you said that you'll be a very good father, but you can't promise that you will be a good husband. Is that fear keeping you back from getting
Yeah,
settled?
I think that is the fear. Yeah.
What's the fear?
That's the fear, that, you know, that I may not be able to be a good husband.
Why do you think that?
I don't know. I just don't know.
You know, some would say that it's very difficult to have a beautiful girlfriend such as Katrina Kaif. Is it difficult to have somebody that beautiful? Do you sometimes feel?
No, no, not really. I mean, I'm used to it, so I'm.
You've always had beautiful girlfriends.
Yeah,
Okay.
kind of. Yeah, actually, yes.
Are you possessive?
No. I'm just concerned. That's it.
You're concerned about what?
Yeah, I'm concerned about, you know, they should do well. They should grow in life. They should be successful. They should there's a huge difference between changing and growing. Changing doesn't mean you're always going to, change for the better. Growing is that you grow for the better. So I just don't like to stop somebody's growth. My girlfriend or my friends to, grow in life, to make it big, to get established, to stand on their feet.
Right. Because a lot of media reports suggest that you are very possessive. I'm sure you've been asked this question 100 times.
And if I'm possessive, what is so wrong about being possessive? That's also a way of showing concern. That's also a way of showing if there is something that you know and the person is doing right, and you tell the person that don't do this because basically अगर आपको तैरना नहीं आता और आप स्विमिंग के लिए जा रहे हैं और आपसे पूछते हैं कि बेटा आपको तैरना आता है, ऐसा नहीं आता लेकिन मैं पानी में सीख लूँगी, ऐसे कैसे?
There's a thin line between being possessive and being overbearing. There's a thin line between being possessive and being overbearing. Would you not think so?
Yeah, but I mean, being possessive is a nice thing. That's the way you show love as well. दूसरा extreme ये हो कि चलो जो करना है करो, गलत जा रही है गलत जाओ, सीखो अपने ओन पर. So if there's somebody who's gone through that, who's, आपको, you don't have to, jump into the fire to see that you got burned.
You've spoken out against, actresses exposing themselves.
Yeah.
Why are you against that? Because, you do seem very secular, liberal-minded, but then you say also that actresses should not expose themselves, and in this day, I mean, obviously there has to be some kind of parameters for exposing themselves. But the fact of the matter and the reality is that they are doing so today, in these days.
तो मेरे बोलने से कोई रुक रहा है क्या? नहीं, depends. I mean, जो vulgar नहीं दिखता, वो ठीक है, And when somebody sees also, like when somebody sees somebody like exposing that much on screen, वो कहीं ना कहीं वो fan के अंदर वो, mentally उस लड़की के लिए इतनी respect नहीं होती. And then when you are suddenly at a function, when you hear a cat call or when you hear a comment, then you get upset.
But at the same time, what about men exposing themselves? That's fine.
करो.
करो.
And कोई double standard नहीं, क्योंकि हम बोलते हैं.
कोई double standard नहीं
है, क्योंकि हम बोलते हैं.
Because you have a double standard, you say कि I have a double standard.
कोई नहीं, जिसने बोल दिया ये है, थोड़ी कोई छुपा के कर रहा है. Double standard उसका होता है कि जो open में नहीं आता है.
Because in your last few films, we have often seen you shirtless, and that is something that has been commented about a lot.
I'll tell you why. Because I can also smoke cigarettes, and I can do alcohol and make cigarettes look really cool in my hand, and send all the boys to the street smoking and drinking and partying instead of send them to the gym. So that is the reason why I remove my shirt.
So is it your choice, or is it the choice of the producer or the filmmaker?
It depends. If I can fit it in somewhere, if I'm looking fit, I will definitely fit it in.
But has it ever happened where the producer or the filmmaker has said कि Salman अपनी shirt उतारो, and you said नहीं मैंने नहीं उतारनी?
ऐसा थोड़ी होता है.
नहीं होता. It's your call.
It's my call. अरे emotional scene अगर हो, and ऐसे कि अब इसमें मैं shirt निकालूँगा, तो थोड़ी होता है.
Okay, let's move on to your films. One of your first films where you became like a superstar was मैंने प्यार किया.
My first film was a film called बीवी होते ऐसी, and I prayed to Allah that the film should not do well.
Why?
और वहाँ पे भी उन्होंने मेरी नहीं सुनी.
Okay, no, but it was मैंने प्यार किया. Wasn't that your first film?
Yeah, first film as a lead, as a hero.
All right. How, when you look back at that film and you look at your performance, how have you grown in your mind as an actor? Where do you feel your strengths are?
I've just grown in age. I've just grown in weight. As an actor, I'm still the same.
You think
because
that?
I don't act. जैसे मैं हूँ, वैसे मैं पर्दे पे हूँ.
But you must have learned a lot. When you look back at that film, you must have said...
Learned grown a lot. You know where the camera is placed. You know what to say. You've seen more of life. Suddenly you've know what the audience likes about you, and you've put in that kind of stuff. You've heard people talk. So whatever your lines that you hear me speak in movies, most of them are from what I've heard people saying on the street, or or in my house, or my friends talking, those kind of scenes, or situations that happen at home.
Does it help you in choosing your films now?
Yeah.
It does?
Yeah.
How do you choose your films?
If I like a narration, if I like the first narration, then I will go and do the film. But if I have to say that, let me think about it, it's nice, but I will never do that.
What's
So
your
if I-
favorite film that you've acted in?
My favorite film will obviously be the first one.
Maine
Maine
Pyar
Pyar Kiya, yeah.
All right.
Because I thought it was a very sweet romantic film where everybody, even that time, was exposing and everything. I was still rubbing Idex on the girl's ankle. And
And she was very
my-
good, I thought,
yeah,
the co-star.
yeah.
What
And
happened to her?
She got married, she's got children.
Okay. Are you still in touch with her?
Now, I met her son a few days ago. I think he's about 23, 24-year-old boy now. Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Did that make you feel old?
No, it made me feel younger.
It made me feel young. Okay. Well, one of the things I also wanted to ask you is that you've moved on to the smaller screen now.
Yeah.
You also hosted a competition show called Dam Ka Das.
Correct.
You enjoyed it?
दम का 10, right? नहीं, इसको थोड़ा उल्टा कर दो इसको. 10 का दम कर दो.
Das Ka Dam.
Yeah.
Okay. And what did you enjoy most about it?
I enjoyed the connect. I enjoyed the connect with the seniors. I enjoyed the connect with my colleagues. I enjoyed the connect with my juniors. I enjoyed the connect with the Desh Ki
How is the
Awam.
small screen different from the big screen?
Small screen is different. I'll tell you why the small screen is different, because when you're watching TV, you don't have to pay for that TV, for that program that you're watching. It's free. So when you're watching Salman Khan, Akshay Kumar, Amir Khan, Imran Khan, Ranbir Kapoor, or Shilpa Shetty, or Kareena Kapoor, Lolo with me on a Das Kadam, you're watching everybody there for free. It's a 1-hour program. So basically what we're doing is, on TV for me especially, is a medium where I can give you 2 hours of entertainment every week, and you don't have to go to a multiplex or a single theater, a single screen theater, and pay 150, 250, or like a 350 rupee ticket.
I want to talk to you about your charity, Being Human.
जी.
And I've spoken to so many people who, swear by you, say that, you do such great work. What inspired you? What was that one moment where you felt you wanted to do this charity?
I have no recollection of that one moment. I've just known that my mother has been doing this for the longest time. So has my father. And I just thought that I should, that is it. And I've been hearing a lot of this. I have some Muslim friends who do, zakat, but they only give to Muslim.
You want to give to everybody.
And then there are Hindus who don't want to give to Muslims. So, but now that's all changed. I mean, this is when I was growing up. Now people do, just go ahead and do charity. So I thought that when I start, giving, I would give to just about anybody who is needy, who deserves it. So if money can improve the quality of life or save a life, then I would be definitely interested in helping that person out.
Tell us of an incident where you were really touched when you were doing charity work. Is there an incident you can recollect where you were really touched? When you were really touched by somebody who you had helped.
I don't meet that person.
You meet children, I know you do.
I meet children, but I meet a lot of people, but I don't like that. I mean, I don't like that look in their eyes that, thank you so much, and it makes me feel really weird.
It makes you feel really weird.
Yeah. I mean, if you start getting used to that look that, आपने हमारी जान बचाई और आपने हमारा heart transplant किया है, या my kid he start hearing again because you put a cochlear implant in her ear, and suddenly you start feeling that ankar, that you're doing this, and that is the worst feeling ever. So I never meet anybody.
Even in our work, we meet little heroes, people who struggle, people who survive. It's the human spirit that we see coming through them.
Yeah.
In your work, you must have also met people like that. Is there a particular story that touched you?
There's lots of stories of that. I mean,
would you like to share one in particular?
Yeah. There's a story that this one lady came to us. She said that she had cancer. So we went and we said, we'll send you to the hospital. So she refused to go. She said, no, I've got these papers and this is my doctor, and you give me this money, I'll go back to my village and get it done. So we insisted that we would send you to this doctor. We sent her to this doctor, she had nothing. Then we met this, we had this kid who was 3 o'clock in the morning, had a placard, saying that being human is fraud and all that stuff. So I called my doctor, who's taking care of the charitable trust. He went, met, and the press was there. So he went and said, what is your problem? He says, you guys have promised me that you're going to take care of my cancer. So the doctor said, check his pocket. He must be going to Lilavati hospital tomorrow. I'm strange that 3 o'clock, what is he doing here? He says, no, but there's my father also who's got cancer. So he said, did you tell us about your father having cancer? He says, no. He says, I'll tell you what, you go, we will send your father instead of you to Lilavati hospital. And he turned around and said, no. He said, you send me and you send my father as well. And the press guys got so upset, they switched off the cameras and they said, you're getting treated in Lilavati hospital. We can't even enter there. And this guy is, sending you there to be treated for cancer.
So people can be very ungrateful, is what you're saying.
Most of them.
And that does.
They think, paise hain, fukat ke paise hain, charitable trust hai. Humko kya long shot marte, mil gaya, nahi mil gaya.
That worries you.
Yeah, it's just that human beings then, and it's got nothing to do with what religion they're from. It's just the people. I mean, a good person is a good person, good Muslim, good Hindu, good Hindu,
Yeah. And what amazes me is that your charity work actually goes beyond borders. I read somewhere that you went to Sri Lanka.
Ji.
And you got 2 doctors to fly from Mumbai to treat
Four
around
doctors.
500, 4 doctors.
No, 6 doctors, sorry.
6 doctors to treat around 500 patients.
Yeah, we did.
Eye specialists.
Yeah, we did about 350 cataract surgeries there. And work is still going on there till the time they complete 1,500, because you got about 1,500 lenses lying there. When I go back to Colombo, we're taking back about 9,000 lenses, and the doctors are going to come in there in batches this time and keep on, finishing all those operations.
Pakistan has also really suffered, and you have fans there too. Would you ever consider doing some charity work in
Definitely,
Pakistan?
inshallah, zarur.
You would?
Zarur, 100%.
Mr. Khan, where stars are loved and adored, there's also a lot of attention on their personal lives, whether they like it. And I know that you are somebody who doesn't like it. But at the same time, there's been a string of controversies with you. Whether that be the black buck case, that was an endangered species, or allegedly shot by you. Let's just put it that way, allegedly shot by you. And then there was also this other case in 2002 where you allegedly, ran over 4 men who were sleeping. One of them died. You were convicted in those cases.
You have to go to jail and all for a bit.
You've been to jail. You've been off and on.
But then see, it's a media trial here. The kind of stuff that the media writes, when something like this happens, they slam you. So when the judge wakes up in the morning, he sees, Arey, kya, sharab pi sharab. They don't know what the actual truth is. Now when you're fighting the case, people are going to get to know.
What is the actual truth?
It's, the strange thing about these court cases is that, especially in what is happening with me, is the whole country talks about it. But when it comes to me, it becomes sub judice. So when you say something, it's
I know, it's sub judice, so we can't talk about it.
No, but the thing is, because it's media, now, for example, agar on merit, because there's nothing to these cases, the lawyers, the judges, the public prosecutors themselves have told me, there's nothing to this, nothing will happen, High Court, Supreme Court. But it is chhod diye, to Salman Khan ne chhod gaye, ya kitne paise liye honge, scrutiny hogi. Nobody is willing to take this.
So there's a lot of attention on your case.
Yeah, and
but at the same time, when you were
it's justified that the judges and the lawyers and everybody would be scared. What would kya uchlega isse?
So the repercussions are much larger than the actual crime, is what you're saying. But moving on, when you did go to jail, it must have been very tough on your family. How did they respond?
Yeah,
how did you respond?
It was. My dad was okay. I mean, obviously he must have been messed up, but we were fine because they came at me, and when they saw me, they realized that I could take care of it. So.
And you were inside jail, and of course, I'm sure all the Havaldars will be saying, "Sir, kaise hain aap?
No,
Aaye,
nothing
star
like that.
hain."
Nothing like that. It was there were two, three different places I went to, all different kind of rooms, and sleep on the floor with one mattress or a piece of newspaper.
With other people, you didn't have your own set.
There's one place where I was sleeping was with 9 guys in them.
Scary?
It was so scary.
You wouldn't think so because you're an action hero, but I mean, in the middle of the night, was it scary because these were real criminals?
You have to go through it. You have to go through it. It's I mean, that was my destiny. I went through it. I mean, there's no point, going and trying to run away. They suggest, run away. We'll get an anticipatory bail. I said, where will I run?
Where will you go?
Yeah, I said, run from what? I said, this is something that I've not done, and this is coming on to me right now. It's my destiny. I'll go and lift my head up high. And I went then. Even the accident case, they said that he's run away. No. That we went and picked him up. No, I went and surrendered myself.
So, we were talking about the time that you spent in prison.
Okay.
I just wanted to know because mothers I know, whenever their children are in trouble, they are besides themselves. How did both your mothers react?
Oh, they were, the second time my mother fell ill. And when she fell ill, I think she was stressed or whatever. They thought it was like a minor heart thing. So they went to, she was admitted into hospital, and some of the people carried that it was like one of those emotional blackmail thingies, to put pressure on the press, and they thought it was like a whole drama natak, but some of the guys carried that. But when my father came to see me, my father's older brother was like, straight out Pathan. He had tears in his eyes. My father told my chacha, said, "Jao yaar, tum bahar." And then my mother also had just like, was almost like crying and stuff like that. So my father said,
So she must be always very worried about you.
Yeah.
Even because you do all these action scenes and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
Isse beta na kiya karo. Does she ever say that?
But she's, we call her Gabriel shock absorbers. Unhone itna jhela life ke andar.
Acha.
And dad is like Tiger and Rambo. So.
And are you close to your stepmom, Helen?
Yes, yeah, very close to her too, yeah.
How does that work? Because sometimes we see this acrimony between
my
the two
mom
mothers.
and Helen are best of friends.
Really?
Yeah, they used to be best of friends, and obviously when Dad started singing, my dad was the one who came and told my mom. The first one to tell my mom was my father, and there was obviously at that time jagade bagade all that. But after that, when we grew up and everything was okay. Maybe it's not one of those things that it was to support. It was out of love. It was something which is is his destiny, and they sorted out everything, and they went back to being best of friends.
It seems that you come from a very close family.
Jay.
So how much of your success do you owe to your family?
Everything. The way I do my intense scenes is what my father and Arbaza. And the comedy is what Sohail is in real life.
The comedy is?
What Sohail is in real life.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you think of them when you're doing these scenes?
Yeah.
Salman, there's this one other controversy that has followed you.
Jay.
It's the connection to the underworld.
Jay.
Lately you were brought in as a prosecution's case was that there was a film that was financed,
Jay.
Chori Chori Chupke Chupke,
Jay.
apparently by a diamond dealer. And
Baracha.
And there was Chota Shakil's right-hand man who apparently threatened you to lower your fees. And then you came in front of the court and said,
even if it was, it wouldn't have worked.
It wouldn't have worked.
It wouldn't have worked.
But does it worry you that those connections with the underworld, because your phone was also tapped, wasn't it?
In
2001
when this thing
years.
started happening,
Yeah.
I used to go to the police station. This is my new number. Please tap my phone. So, I mean, that says it all, I guess.
It was an invasion of privacy, do you feel?
No, the fact that if they thought that was it, then this is my thing. And then when they were also fans, agar kahin baat kar li hai, to it was from Assalamu alaikum se leke Khuda Hafiz tak, is there any money dealing, is there any saying ke isko dekh lena, usko dekh lena, ye kar dena, none of that stuff. Assalamu alaikum, Khuda Hafiz. And your stars, you know, their children, this one, that one, and not only the Muslim underworld, but everybody else also. You know, is that time movie making was the most lucrative business. So everybody at that point in time might have wanted to get into movies and all that stuff, but
there was definitely a connection between the underworld and Bollywood, wasn't there? Isn't there?
Not where I am concerned. Not where I'm concerned at all. And I don't think at that point in time, you know, it was like some people, producers scared, you know, because there were a lot of hits also. You know, people were shot, people were killed. So nobody wants to take the panga. So, you know, Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum salam, dua ke andar being respectful. Agar wo usko nikal sakte hain, so that was it. So there was no nexus or there was no connection like that at all. It was just, you know, you're taking care of yourself. That was about it. And
so patli gali se nikal jao, salam karke patli gali se nikal jao.
That's what it was.
So you're avoiding them rather than.
Yeah.
All right. You know, my last question to you, you have so many fans,
Yeah.
female and male, both in Pakistan. Is there something that you would like to say to them?
Yeah, actually lots of things. You know, ख्याल रखें और अच्छी ज़िंदगी जिएं. मेरा एक इतना ही फंडा है लाइफ के अंदर कि किसी के ऊपर उतना करो जब कि खुद के ऊपर आए तो आप झेल सकते हो. बस जितना आप अपने माँ बाप को कम दुख दे सकते हैं उतना दें. मेरे हिसाब से पढ़ाई लिखाई से बोरिंग चीज़ कुछ है नहीं, लेकिन वो करनी बहुत ज़रूरी है क्योंकि वही बाद में काम आती है. तो 15 साल निकाल लो. पहले के 4-5 साल तो याद ही नहीं होते हैं, और फिर उसके बाद 15 साल 20 साल जितने भी साल, उसके बाद आप जियोगे करीबन जब तक जियोगे 80-90 साल तक, वही काम आएगा आपको. और जहाँ पे अगर आपको देखा कि आपका हुनर वहाँ पे है, आप उसमें घुसना शुरू कर दें. करते की प्रैक्टिस है. बस अपनी लाइफ बनाओ और बाकी सब अल्लाह पे छोड़ दो.
Thank you so much for joining us on Face Off tonight.
हम यहाँ के रॉबिन हुड हैं, रॉबिन हुड पांडे.